Hey everyone, this is Geekiary, and I'm back with my weekly comic book reviews, and I ended up reading a total of 6 comic books this week, so let's get to it. The first comic book I'm going to start talking about is Batman, issue number 77, again by Tom King. It's a continuation of his City of Bane story arc that's happening. So basically in this issue what happens is that, good news, Bruce is awake, Selina has helped him recover, and he tells Selina that he was beaten up. And also these two talk, I guess they're in Paris, and they talk about how Bruce thinks that if he ends up going back to Gotham and dying there, he'll end up dying in the same place his parents died, and that would be a good death for him. And he's like, I don't even know how to go back to Gotham, it's not even my city anymore. And Selina is like, Bruce, you aren't someone who is able to see everything. Even now, even while I'm standing beside you, you are unable to see me, and you forgot that I'm your key back into the city. So in the coming issues, it will be interesting to see how Selina and Bruce go back. As far as what's happening in Gotham, Damian, because of the conversation he had with Tim in the previous issue, Damian, of course, doesn't listen to Bane about the consequences if anyone from the Bat family ends up entering Gotham, and he goes there. He's able to trap Gotham Girl by using some magic, but then he ends up fighting Thomas, and Damian ends up losing. And yeah, Alfred is dead. We have a panel where Bane ends up snapping Alfred's neck, and you know what? I don't think that Alfred's death is going to be permanent. I mean, it's comic books. Of course, Alfred is going to come back, and if you look over the solicitations for the upcoming issues and other stories that are happening, Alfred is alive. So I'm not really sure why they ended up doing this. Maybe because they wanted to break Damian. I mean, if Bane can break Batman, he can easily break Damian. So yeah, moving on. We have Death's Head, issue number 2, and this is a Marvel comic, and I am enjoying reading this comic, especially because it features Wiccan, and Wiccan is one of my favorite comic book characters. And I did a review of the previous issue. The link to that will be down in the comment section below if you want to check that out. I did an entire reaction video. So basically, now that now that we have Wiccan, Hulkling, we have Death's Head, and we have an upgraded version of Death's Head, which is called Death's Head 5, and he's been created by a woman called something Neckler. And basically there have been many Necklers throughout the different dimensions, and Wiccan ends up explaining about why he ended up rescuing Death's Head upgrade number 5. It's because when he was looking at all of the possible realities, he saw that when he was back in a team with Kate and the rest of his friends, Death's Head 5 was in there too, so that's why he ended up rescuing him. And long story short, Kate appears. So yeah, so now Kate, Wiccan, Hulkling, Death's Head the original, and Death's Head the upgraded version number 5 end up going back to the AIM laboratory, and Neckler's there, and Neckler has something planned for them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And is Death's Head we going to stick around? Who knows? I'm excited to know what happens to Wiccan by the end of this story, especially because the same writer, Teenie Howard, is going to be writing the new Strike Force comic book that also stars Wiccan. Okay, so next up we have Fearless, issue number 2, and I mean, considering that this miniseries stars Storm, Invisible Woman, Captain Marvel, and even Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, I was expecting so much more from the story. The previous issue was a bit boring. Issue number 2 was a bit boring as well. Storm's tone felt different, and I was like, okay, Storm, you're saying that you came because you had your ex-mutant students here. Why didn't you come sooner? It's as if they're saying that Storm can't take time out of her busy schedule to meet normal human students. It just felt very weird, especially because we know the Storm basically cares about everyone. And then Carol Danvers came in, and apparently this camp is supposed to be a trap by some villain, and we don't really know. But 2 more issues are left. Let's see what happens. Then we have the Magnificent Miss Marvel, issue number 6. Now, after Miss Marvel came back in the previous issue from this alien planet after saving everyone, she's back, and we also found out in the previous issue that Kamala's father has this uncurable disease, and currently there's research going on. They don't really know how to cure it. So basically it just shows Kamala trying to figure out what she wants to do in her life. She has a whole lot she has to deal with. She has to deal with her powers, she has to deal with her family, and there's also something between Bruno and Kamala that's happening, and I'm really excited to know what's that about. And also, in order to save her father, she ends up calling Tony Stark, and he comes in and he basically tells Kamala that you can't save everyone as a superhero. It's a fun comic book issue, and I'm a fan of Kamala's new outfit. Then we have the Powers of 10, issue number 3, and basically it shows one of the most horrific timelines for the mutants. The Phalanx are ruling humanity, and there's not necessarily any humanity left because the Phalanx are merging themselves with humans, and the mutants are the only like stronghold, and they're the only resistance. And basically the thing is that the entire timeline in the first 3 issues of this series was actually Moira McTaggart's 9th life, and now Wolverine ends up giving her all of the data, and then he ends up killing her, and then Moira McTaggart ends up in her 10th life, which is the present timeline, and all of the events that are happening in the House of X. So it's a fun series. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Then the last comic book that I read is Teen Titans issue number 33. So basically after they send Lobo to the moon, Lex Luthor comes in, and the Djinn ended up erasing Lobo's memory, but Lex Luthor ends up giving him all of his memories, and then he ends up sending Lobo back to Earth, and a month has gone by, I guess if I'm not wrong, between the Teen Titans fight. Yeah, since the Teen Titans fought Lobo, and basically in this issue we find out that even though the team is working well, they aren't really talking to Robin that much, and it turns out that Robin ended up creating that prison because he is retraining these villains. He's taking away their memories through the help of the Djinn, and he's rehabilitating them in order to be more productive members of society. And I'm like, Robin, your idea is good, but I don't think it will last long. Let me know if you guys have read any of the issues that I reviewed in this video. Let me know about them down in the let me know what you thought down in the comment sections below. And also, if there's any comic book that you want me to pick up, let me know about that comic book too. Just leave it in the comments.